So, you remember Baghdad Bob? He was Saddam Hussein's information minister during the invasion of Iraq in 2003, oblivious to the facts, selling the company line with gusto. Well, meet NFL Bob, a.k.a. Mitch Berger. He's a neurosurgeon who heads an NFL committee on long-term effects of brain and spine injuries on former players. At the Super Bowl a month or so ago, he continued the cruel fiction, saying there was no link between football and CTE, chronic traumatic encephalopathy. It's a degenerative brain disease. That all changed Monday. In front of Congress, here's Jeff Miller. He's the NFL Senior Vice President of Health and Safety during a congressional roundtable Monday, saying there is a link between football-related head trauma and CTE.
The answer to that question is certainly yes.
Certainly yes. Now, while the NFL finally admitted it, virtually everyone else already knew it, from players who were horribly disabled to those who have died prematurely. Of 94 brains of former NFL players examined by Boston University's researchers, 90 showed signs of CTE. And while I hope this will increase the size of the settlement for those former players who the NFL has used, lied to, then spit out, my primary concern is not the adult stars, but the kids who want to be just like them. And maybe this long overdue burst of honesty will help. Former Harvard football player, former pro wrestler, and now one of the inspirations behind exposing this concussion CTE connection and making all contact sports safe, agrees. Here's part of what Chris Nowinski, founding executive director of the Concussion Legacy Foundation, told me last night. When the NFL admitted a link between football and CTE, they weren't just referring to NFL players, they were referring to all football players, even 5-year-olds. So this needs to spark a national conversation on kids playing football. The number of 6 to 14-year-olds playing tackle football was actually up 1.9% last year. And that's who this has got to be about, kids. Nowinski says there's no safe way for a kid to be hit in the head thousands of times, so he urges parents to embrace flag football for their children. Nowinski and his allies argue for no headers in soccer for kids under 14. You can find other recommendations of his and his colleagues at concussionchecklist.org. But for now, educate yourself, your kids, their coaches. Now that NFL Bob has been silenced, it's time for us to speak up. Our kids' health depends on it. What do you think? Tweet us, email us, share your thoughts.